All right, here we go. I'll answer that question here. So right now, Timo had asked, is there a date for a European Space Jam like time zone yet? Not yet. I want to get past this weekend, see what were some of the which I've already found a couple of ways to make the process easier for me and for you guys as well in the whole sign up process. So that's already getting cleaned up. A lot of the documentation I just can use obviously the same, which some of it I didn't realize I needed. I didn't realize there were going to be some questions. So we got a lot of things already solved, which is awesome. And we will, as soon as I get past the Space Jam, the American time zone version, we're gonna go ahead and get that scheduled. We're gonna do a European one. We're going to do an Australian one as well, and then I want to do a fourth one. If you guys have any suggestions as to where to do it, of course I'm sure Americans will say do another American one, and Europeans will do another European one. Australians will be like do another Australian one. I'm kind of tempted to do a second European one because I know that there are a lot of players out there in Europe. Not that there's not a lot of players in the U.S., but maybe we'd be able to fill it twice. It's really going to be dependent on how those first set of numbers look, though. All right. So right on the onset, you can see that Eric decided to go fast with this bottom left-hand corner of his ships, the Reaper with the Interceptor and a couple of TIE fighters. And he has another kind of squadron there on his left side, keeping them separate. Now, a couple of pieces of information I think are really, really important in this. These gentlemen actually both played each other already in this tournament. It happened in the first round of Swiss, if I'm not mistaken, and Kettch was able to win. And even before the game, he was expressing, being a little bit worried about the fact that Eric got to see him play. But of course, Eric also, his opening, he said he would set up differently than before and not necessarily do the same tactic. And there is that such thing, if you've probably heard, the curse of the Swiss. So gotta watch out for that. All right. $71-32 left in the round. Now, I know I've seen quite a few questions about, how the game translates to TTS versus being on a regular table. Some things take longer to do. Some things are faster, though. So all in all, it's you can see right there Eric saying he's ready to go. He gave the arrow, and I found that it just balances out. All right, here we go. Moving the Interceptor there with a 5 forward, taking a focus. Oh, not a 5 forward, excuse me, a 3 forward. All right, keeping it chill. We have somebody in the chat reporting that Eric misses from McDavid 25. That he beat him in the top 8. So I guess he's cheering for Eric. You defeat me, you win the tournament. That's the determination there. All right. I'm not sure why there's a random cloak token. Am I missing something? No, I'm a little rusty, but no, accident. Okay. Davin Felth also reporting he's pretty sure Kettch won the top tier of the Vassal League this year. Sounds good. Sounds good. And looking right now at that Choose Your Champion poll, we have Kettch with a strong majority, 30 to 70%, but only 10 people have voted. So go ahead, get your votes in right now. Who do you think has the advantage in this game? Choose your champion. Now, I know some people might be wondering, are we going to do some giveaways tonight or anything like that? Not today, but we will this weekend. We have some giveaways planned, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I'm super excited. For choosing, player 1 is always on the left, and player 2 is on the right. See a couple people asking. So Eric did turn in his squadron of TIE fighters there. The yellow, pink, and blue went to the left. We'll see where he wants to go from there. But has the option with those TIE fighters and the interceptor to be able to just turn on a dime with a hard one. He could commit to the left early. They all also have barrel rolls, so you might maybe see some bank shenanigans. We'll have to wait and see. Eric does have a lot of ships to set, and he needs to make sure that he manages the range for Sloan, because you want to be able to use that tech. A really common issue if people are not being successful with Sloan is having the carrier for Sloan. In this case, it's the Scarif-based pilot, just out of range from the first ship that dies in the initial engagement. So maybe he's going to end up trying to go around the rock, the cloud there in the center. All right, and there is exactly what I said. It's 3 hard. All right, and that beautifully fits right next to the cloud. Very nice. All right, and he's committing. And this might end up being what I was talking about. I don't feel that the Reaper is going to be in range 3 of that yellow interceptor. Could be wrong. Oh, unless it's a big move here. Oh, never mind. Made it. Very nice. All right, so Eric putting himself in the right spot. Very nice. Going to make sure that he has Sloan ready to go. Very solid flying. Getting around that cloud like a boss. Put some BB-8s in the chat for Eric. Some thumbs up. All right, Jake's going to go ahead and boost for the action into the fray. Takes focus from his ability. So no ship ability there. No extra movement. Han going into the corner. He's going to go ahead and take a target lock. And going with yellow. Wedge is coming up. Is he going to be coming through the middle or on the side with Jake? It looks like he did a one bank, so he didn't have to commit either direction. Here's his opportunity to commit, and looks like he's not committing. I like it. The move there, the barrel roll opens up the hard turn to be able to go on the outside of the map. There we go. He's going to go into yellow, unobstructed. Range 3. Remember, the dice have to be placed and then rolled. 3 hits. That seems pretty solid. Good way to start that off. Spends a focus, no damage. Jake should have a range 3 bullseye shot at a couple things. He's got the Alpha Squadron as well as the Scarif-based pilot at range 3 in the bullseye. He's going to go into the Reaper. I think that's the right call. Just trying to get that Sloan off the board. Also, it's a big chunk of points in the list. 48 points total for that Reaper. So 2 dice coming in. And has the focus. And spends it for 2 hits. Rolled 1 evade. And crack shots to make sure he gets both hits through. All right. So it looks like the yellow interceptor has range 3. 3 hits coming in. And got nothing. Sorry, I said. And the blue TIE Fighter also has a shot at range 3. 2 hits. Han has 2. He's going to go ahead and Han reroll. Gets to reroll his dice. Spends the force from Kanan Jarrus and no damage. And right now Eric's checking range from all his ship. And Jake has 1 other shot coming in from the interceptor. There's going to be 3 on 4. Interceptor does have a focus. And that's going to be 2 hits after spending the focus. Looks like there's 1 evade there. 1 was out of the box. And takes 1 shield there early on Jake. Just a quick reminder to everybody in the chat. We try to keep that chat family friendly. So just remember, if you're not a constant watcher of GSP, that is a standard that we try to keep because we got a lot of families who do watch our programming. So we'd appreciate to try to keep that chat clean. You know, be strong, say strong things, but maybe watch how you say them. Just appreciate that. All right, we're going to go ahead and clear the dice box for these guys because they forgot to clear the dice box. This is a common issue, even in not I don't want to call it regular X-wing. You know, in what am I trying to say? In person X-wing. People forget to clear the dice box. And I haven't made a button to get rid of those easily, so give me a moment and I will can clear that out for you. Still trying to perfect the setup that I really like. It's just trying to figure out what I like for streaming, like the setup. I'm not haven't found anything that I'm in love with yet. But slowly but surely. Why can we see? Oh, I have it on Game Master mode. I gotta change that. One second, everybody. That's fixed. Sorry about that. All right, so that interceptor getting aggressive. Blue TIE Fighter coming up. Doing a 2-bank. Pink is also doing a 2-bank. And Focus is trying to get Han in the corner. We'll see how Kettch responds. Eric is really getting aggressive, trying to take Han off the board. I mean, Han is the most expensive piece out there at 96 pieces, 96 points. I said pieces. What in the world? All right. Jake with a nice 2-bank will be right in the pocket. 5 straight. He is not a RZ2 A-Wing, so he's not going to be able to get a shot, but he's out of trouble for this time. All right, he's going to use vector thrusters to go ahead and get the boost. And he has a focus. He might be able to catch Pink, maybe the blue TIE Fighter as well. And looks like Han did get bumped. No action there. And did he bump? I mean, did he hit the debris? I don't think so. Oh, yes, it looks like he did. And he's going to go ahead and roll a die. Only on a crit. And rolls the crit. Han re-roll and rolled crit twice in a row. I know you guys can't see it right now. Sorry, guys. I have was working on trying to get things fixed. Whew. Crazy. So he's going to take a shield there. And I'm sorry, I'm doing some background fixing. And again, I appreciate everybody's patience. I know a lot of people love getting feedback and stuff like that. Don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm just trying to manage right now. There you go. That looks good. All right, here we go. Dice should be back up. And looks like Trick Shot is up. He's going to have 4 on 3. Using that Trick Shot to get that die. He's going to Han reroll the entire and only ends up with a single crit. Uses that force to get to 2. Spends the evade token. All right, Scarif is in the bullseye of Wedge. 3v1. And he only got 1. And I was right the first time. All right, 3v1. And takes 1 damage. First card there. Jake is up. Should be able to get some of the TIE fighters here. Blue range 3. And was able to get 2 hits. See if he can get some damage into these TIE fighters. 4 dice because it's at range 3. And got enough. Obstructed range 3 shot going into Han. Hit, crit, crit. Has a force available. He might. He's actually going to go for the Han reroll. Ends up with 2 natty evades. He knows there's some more shots in. Was able to conserve the force. Han at range 2. Here's a Sloan reroll because he's stressed. Has a focus for 2. Coming in from those TIE fighters. Was able to roll the evade. Another shield down on Han. Down to 2. Next shot. 2 hits again. So he's going to be taking at least 1. Down to 1 shield. Going into Wedge, most likely not pushing damage through the gas cloud. No damage there. Other TIE fighter coming up. And focuses for hit crit. Whoops. Oh my Jesus, what is happening? There it goes. Interceptor from range 2. And focuses for 3. This could push through a damage. And does. Oh, he took 2. It was a focus. So shields are down. So after that initial combat, though no points were scored, Eric definitely feeling some of the momentum on his side right now. He was able to almost get all of Han's shields down. Wedge's shields are down, and he has only taken a little bit of damage. Pretty solid opening there for Eric. A couple of options here for Kettch. He does have Kanan available. For people who don't know what Kanan Jarrus' gunner ability is, or is he a crew? But I'm not sure what it is. But basically, he can spend the force after doing a white maneuver in order to clear stress. So pretty solid. I think the wording might be a little different than that. We'll go ahead and just bring it up so that we can say it right for those people. It is a crew card. Crew card confirmed. It says, after a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 fully executes a white maneuver, you may spend 1 force to remove 1 stress token from that ship. So just about what I said. But it works on other ships too at range 0 to 2. So himself or his buddies. But right now, it's all about Han. Han's got to get out of this mess. Those of you in the chat, what maneuver do you think you would do? All right, what would you do? Now, you do have to fully execute the maneuver. The Falcon, I mean, would the 2-turn get around the TIE fighters, assuming that they're going fast enough? Not sure that the 3-bank stays on the map. But man, those TIE fighters on the right side, they are most likely going to end up just turning to the left and going at Han. Wedge feels like a strong just 1 forward to victory. Now, Eric does have a lot of blocking opportunities here with trying to plug up the spots where Han's going to be, but he doesn't want to, you know, one of the issues, if you send everybody to block, you got to make sure you have shots too. Mind you, he has his force split up right now, so you will have some answers there on the right side. But, of course, you do have Wedge and Jake bearing down. I think they're ready to roll. Let's see what happens. All right. So 2-bank bump for the interceptor doesn't move. Two straight and focus. Blue 1 hearts. And just to note, the arc is left-right for Han. All right, going in fast there, hoping that Han stays in order to get the shot. No damage onto the debris. Red interceptor's up, and this will give the intention for the rest of the squad there. Yep. We'll probably just go ahead and see other 2 hard turns around the debris. These TIE fighters, Eric's doing a great job of flying a tight game close to the debris and the obstacles and not being afraid. Now looking at the other moves, the Reaper moves both do feel really aggressive. And might be a little bit of over pursuit, because now if Han moves forward, you probably don't have a shot. Not to mention that you have Wedge in the back, just, one forwarding and possibly, or maybe even more aggressive than that, and maybe being able to get range 1. All right, he did overlap the the cloud after going 1 straight. And he's going to be strained. Han is up now. So Han had dialed in the 3 left turn, did not make it over. Does not roll there, but ends up still stressed. All right, Han's up. He's going range 1 into the Reaper. He's going to go ahead and keep that. 2 hits. Or sorry, excuse me, hit crit. And let's find out what that crit is. It's a fuel leak. Blank crit in this instance. He's down to 1 hull. Range 1 going into the interceptor. And does take a crit. Crack shot and takes hit crit. So he's getting half points. And it is a fuel leak. Also not really relevant. Now Jake does have a shot onto the Reaper as well. And I'm sorry I made a mistake there. The Reaper has more hull than I thought. Uses Predator here. Hit crit. This could be huge because of the fuel leak. Like I was saying. That's going to do it. Oh, Jake accidentally got erased there. Takes a hit crit on the Scarif. They're working on getting Jake back on the board. Common mistake that happens on TTS is accidentally, deleting your ship. One of the suggestions that I put out there for players, or not suggestions, one of the requirements for people playing in Space Jam this weekend is that you have to have 2 copies of your squad out the whole time. And this is to, just to avoid delays. You should be able to grab it off the side and you're good to go. And now the TIE Fighters are up, but without Sloan out there, the rerolls are gone. He's going to go into Jake. Range 2. Got 2 hits. Spends the focus. No damage. Spends the focus for 1 hit from the next TIE Fighter. And that is the second shield down on Jake. Another shot into Jake, range 3. 3 dice from the interceptor. Spends focus for 2. And got enough there on the initial roll. So looking back at some of the early maneuvers here for Eric, he brought the Reaper in, I think trying to see if he can press the advantage of having the Reaper in range of all of the TIE fighters that he had alive. The issue there, though, of course, is that he basically fed the Reaper right in the kill box. Like, it was sitting right in the middle between all 3 of Kettch's ships. Had the option to fly away and still keep the TIE fighters in the center of the board, the Red Interceptor and the 2 TIE LNs in the range, and possibly keep them alive a little bit longer. But we'll see how it progresses now without having Sloan as the tool available for Eric. People delete their ships on purpose in here? No, no, Milkweed. People delete their ships when they're destroyed so that you can put them back in the right spot, just in case you need to, like you forgot an ability or something like that. But not bad. Green Gimp says, any word on the rest of the Worlds game? I would assume as of right now that all those games are gone, unfortunately. It's a lot of stuff. We have a giant red finger right in the middle of the board. Eric has his player hand inside the dice box right now, so that's why you see that. All right, Gray did a 2 straight. He's still continuing to focus on Han. I mean, seems good, but you are, again, just giving your backside to Wedge, and Wedge will start taking ships off the board here pretty soon. And if you end up with Kettch ahead, if you end up with more than the amount that Han is worth in TIE Fighters dead, that just works to Kettch's advantage. All right, hard turn there. Just going to barrel roll. I think he's going to try to get out of the 3 arcs that he's sitting in front of right now. And just trade shots with only the blue TIE Fighter, I'm assuming. But we have to wait and see what the move is. So left forward doesn't quite fit. So going middle to middle does work. Focus from the ability. So he's going to have Predator on, because now he has the bullseye on. Han was able to complete the maneuver. Does he use Kanan? Right now, that's the hesitation. He's actually going to just hold on to the force and see if he can use it offensively. Wedge just banks right behind that red interceptor. Takes a target lock onto the red interceptor, trying to guarantee its death. All right, here's Wedge going into that red interceptor. You brought a target lock. Go ahead and use them. Only ends up with 2 hits. It's 2 on 2. And the focus saves them there. Han's probably just going to try to go at that same interceptor. Yep, he's going to go into that same interceptor because he no longer has that focus modifier, so has a chance to, a better chance of pushing through the damage now. He's going to go ahead and Han reroll. That is the average roll right there. He has to check range 1 of the obstacle. Yes, he is, so he can use his ability. And hit crit, able to hold on to that force. Only 1 evade. Oh, got 2. He was able to get 2. There's a possibility that Kettch gets out of this without doing any damage. There's a Predator reroll. Got 3. And could focus out to make it so that Kettch has done 0 damage this turn. He's going to take 1 damage on blue. Jake had already used Crack Shot. Go ahead and do that 1 damage. All right, it's Eric's turn to respond. Blue TIE Fighter, 3 dice, range 1 into Jake. Both have focuses. That's going to be 3 hits. Kettch looking for some hot greens. Got 2. Takes 1. Jake is down to 1 hull. That TIE Fighter right there does have the option to continue going into Jake. He's at range 2, not at range 1. The temptation to go range 1 at Han is strong with that one. And that seems to be range 1 at Han. Was able to get 2. Got the evade. Shields are down on Han. Red Interceptor continuing going into Han. Got 2. It's going to be hitting at least 1 there. Evade. Takes 1 damage. Yes, range 2 to both Jake and Han. Debating splitting fire here from the TIE Fighter. And he's going into Jake. Jake does still have a focus, it seems. 1 hit. And got the evades. All right, so going into the next round of planning, I think, Kettch obviously probably not expecting to be in the position that he's in right now. He was in a good spot to take at least 1 ship off the board this turn, but did not happen. Did lose Han's last shield as well as bringing Jake down to 1, but Kettch didn't lose any ships, so that's That's the positive there. And looking at the board positioning right now, it would seem that Eric is going to have the ability to maybe catch Han for one more turn, but Han's about to get into open space here. If he dials in the right maneuvers. And it also depends on where Eric is trying to where's Eric trying to go? The turret arc being left, right, you got to account for that as well. Kettch most likely doesn't want to use his actions, turning that turret around. Let's go ahead and get the choose your champion poll out of the way. So it's 16 points on the with 16 votes in the onset. A total of 28 votes, 16 out of 28. Kettch was in the lead. We'll see how the game shakes out. That was your choose your champion poll. Now this weekend I'm going to have a co-commentator. Ryan Farmer is going to be hanging out with us all day. We also have a couple of judges that are going to be on staff and available for anybody who's participating as well. Should be a good time. Let's go over and take a peek at the chat. I seem to have misplaced my chat. There it is. Who here in the chat signed up for this weekend's game? Somebody here, Rock Cracker. Is Farmer going to give some Jank Tank open updates? I don't know. He could if he wants to. Nickel City X-Wing says, I want to go at least 500. I'll be happy. I want everything to not explode, and then I'll be happy. I will say, waitlist, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. I've actually already let in 2 people from the waitlist because we had 2 drops. So we're getting there. All right, Blue making a barrel roll there, positioning himself for Han making a break for it, maybe thinking that Han's doing a 3-bank. Just a focus there for Jake. Han keeping it slow. He's going to lose his stress. And Han will have another chance to go range 1 into that red interceptor, man. That might be soon to fail, man, before he got promoted. He has not been taking damage. Let's see what happens this time. Here we go. Range 1 going into red. Hit crit. Han reroll. That was an average roll. Ends up worse for 2, having to use a force. And he finally goes down. Red is dead. And now Wedge is up. Wedge has already used Crack Shot. He's going to go ahead and take the shot on the yellow interceptor because that is the one that is threatening Jake right now. And there is a timeline where Kettch is able to ace this interceptor in 1 shot. Let's see what happens. All right, hit crit. That's part of the timeline. That's a possible way to do it. Oh, it takes 1 crit. So cannot go. Damage sensor array is the crit there. And Jake has a chance to do it himself. Range 1, only 1 hit. and most likely spends the focus here. Could get greedy and hold on to it because he does have a range 1 shot going into Jake. He's spending the focus, giving Jake a chance, and Jake does have his focus token still. Now it's time for Eric's chance to sling those dice. Here comes the interceptor, range 1, the yellow interceptor, going into Jake. Hit, crit, natty roll. Looking for paint. That was a flip, not a roll. And not enough. Jake taken off the board. So, right now, you have still have Eric leading right now, 39-79, even with Jake being taken off the board. I know it feels bad losing a ship, but we're getting close to half on Han from pink. Only 1 hit. Han's been able to dodge a lot of this fire. Can he keep it up? He's going to go ahead and Han re-roll. Just do it again. And takes another damage. And that's half points, putting Eric ahead 87-79. Now, you have Han with 6 health, Wedge still with 4. Wedge is in a really great position to get some pursuit angles. And I think this is going to be actually a pretty tough turn for Eric because he's either going to have to do some K turns, which is going to cause him to, of course, be stressed and not have modifiers, or he's going to continue to set himself up in blocking positions. Han's at the biggest risk, of course, of taking damage because you have the pink TIE Fighter, yellow interceptor, and that blue TIE Fighter able to form a bit of a kill box for Han. Han could try to dip out to the right side. It's a little bit risky, and you know, in that risk, in that kind of like, well, most people wouldn't want to put themselves in a corner here. There is a sliver of genius in there because, of course, if Eric commits everything to the center of the board, assuming that's where Kettch is going, that might give him a moment to breathe, give him a little bit of space. Maybe Wedge is able to take a ship out, and then you end up in a better position, more of a kiting position, which is what Han really likes to do for Han Solo. We got 82 people watching from around the world. Where are you guys watching from? Let me know. Where are you spending your quarantine at? Or where are you working at if you're an essential worker? All right, looks like we have some German friends and some other Europeans watching right now from Poland, Texas, Hungary, Jersey. Yep. For our European friends, I am excited to get rolling on that European time zone Space Jam. What? Oh, here we go. Too hard here from the blue TIE Fighter. All right, so there are the K turns. Focus. Pink TIE Fighter does bump there into Han. Han goes to the right. He's going to use Kanan to lose the stress. And takes a focus. He's sitting in a couple arcs, but was able to get out of 2. Wedges up. He's going to bump. And that was with the 2 bank there. All right, decisions. Where he's going to shoot. Han's going to take the shot into yellow, trying to clear him off the board. Try to get rid of that 4-dice gun. Wedge will follow up if need be. He has a target lock out there. Spends a focus. So that's guaranteed, I think. I believe I forgot to do some damage here. Takes 2, and the alpha's off the board. Like I said earlier, this is Kettch's turn to really catch up. He was able to pull ahead now, 87 to 110. Wedge. Going into that. Oops. Looks like they accidentally deleted wedge. They'll get wedge back on the board here in a minute. Wedge in hiding. Yes. Now, quick question. Is there anybody in the chat who has never played on TTS? Why haven't you? Like, I would like to know the reason why. And it could be anything from like, I don't have, I can't afford it, which is a legit thing, or I don't have a machine that works with. All the way to like, I'm nervous or unsure about it, or maybe you prefer another platform, such as Vassal. I want to have this conversation. Talk with me. Spending focus for 2. First shot going into wedge. Takes 1. That's half points. Purple shot onto Han. Was able to get the evade. Unless that reads as a blank. Did I miss that? Must have. All right. And hit. Crit going into Han there at range 1. Reroll, try again. Hit and a crit. What's the crit? Disabled power regulator. Can only do focus actions. And range 2 on the wedge from this dark green. 2 hits. On to nothing. Wedge down to 1. The force is strong with Eric today. Copper blue. My son didn't like what? Stream dice rigged. Fun walk, man. I don't make the rules. I just listen. It happens. I will say it does. The Kettch has been on the unfortunate side of variance, though. At the same time, you know, Eric's sticking those TIE fighters where they got to be to get shots. And taking a look at some of the responses to my question earlier. A lot of people on here have played on Vassal before, which is awesome. Some people just don't know how to. Well, if you don't know how to, I will recommend I would say I learned how to play from the Hexiled Gaming tutorials. They're awesome. They're fantastic. So look up Hexiled Gaming on YouTube. They also stream. Scott does a great job there. And then just honestly, open a room by yourself and practice. Just like spawning a squad and moving things around. You'll get used to it really, really quickly. We actually also posted a bunch of tutorials, like 4 or 5 tutorials. They're more Space Jam specific. We talked about like how to color code your squad and how to save objects and things like that. So there is definitely a growing community and content out there just to teach people how to do it. So, and if you have any questions, we're actually going to be hanging out here after the second game. Here to explore some people's questions. We might not have all the answers, but I think together as a community, we could figure it out. All right, turning around the mountain there. TIE fighters have come to bear onto Wedge. Han taking an advantage here. Action taking a target lock on the blue TIE fighter. Wedge K-turn trying to see if he can clear that pink TIE fighter. Was able to get out of all those arcs. Only has a one-on-one here. Might even be out of the arc. It is close. But I love the gutsy call. Very risky in that situation. The over pursuit from Eric might be punished. Kettch going into the blue TIE fighter. He has a target lock. He's going to go ahead and Han. That doesn't count as the... He's going to use... There you go. He can still use a target lock. Gets a blank. Force for 2. 4 dice from range 1. Takes 1. Slowly chipping away. 12 minutes left. That's half point on that TIE fighter. And that pulls Kettch ahead again. Wedge. Wedge will shoot pink. Wedge does not have is not getting shot this turn, by the way. One hit. Both Blake and takes 1 damage onto that gray TIE fighter. It's like that dark orange one we have, this one. And Kettch there was trying to get around that evade token. This is why he went with the orange, excuse me, the gray. We had it labeled as orange. The gray TIE fighter there rather than the pink, because that evade token that pink took was a guarantee, but the focus was not. So good call there by Kettch. Just trying to maximize his opportunities. This is going to come down to the wire, though. Wedge, having only 1 hole left, is ready to, he goes down. He's ready to give up 31 points. Disable power regulator does trigger here. Takes the first token. So after you engage, you take an ion token. And once it's a large base ship, so once it reaches 3 ion tokens, it will be ionized and be forced to do with 1 straight. But I am not even sure that we'll get to that point in the game, honestly. We're coming close to the end here. I'm not sure if you guys saw the official published research by Mr. Patrick. We were both working on this project. He got his research out, which is awesome, he was going super in-depth. But we basically came both to the same conclusion, is that like average game length is about 9 turns. If you guys remember, we did this research also in first edition, and it was at 11. And so the overall the game has quote unquote gotten slower on average, though we do have quite a bit more swarm play that's happening right now. And in a lot of the games that were recorded, there were also, a good representation of different squads. There wasn't always a correlation between, more ships equals more time. Not always. Like, for instance, the opposite wasn't always true. Like, oh, we have two ship lists next to each other. That means that they'll be able to go super fast. That always didn't happen. But for sure, your swarm v swarm, or 8 versus 5, those just having to move the ships takes time. But being able to plan for those 9 turns, at least having those 9 gives you a good idea of planning and strategy. So it's good to have that information out there in the for players to think about. All right, blue TIE fighter taking the focus there, trying to protect the little bit of health he's got left. I'm going to make those dice disappear. I'm totally going to forget to turn them back on. It always happens. I always do that whenever I turn them off. All right, Han turning around the debris. Nickel City X-Wing. Same. He's going to go ahead and take the target lock. And he's going to go on to pink. All right, this is a trick shot. Oh, forgot to turn on the dice like I said I would. That's hit crit, by the way. And you can't see that dice. They stacked on top of each other. So blue off the table. Kettch able to extend his lead. Oh, Han just got accidentally deleted. I think Kettch has successfully deleted all 3 of his ships. He went for the hat trick. I think that time though it was Eric. Eric accidentally deleted Han. All right, range 3. Spending the target lock versus that pink TIE Fighter. That's like, I think, the first max damage he's gotten in a while, at least. Here we go. Hit, crit, crit. Another Ion token out there. Hit, crit on the pink. Hasn't taken any damage yet. Double damage will do it. And... oh, they're both crits. Weapons failure. Weapons failure and a damage sensor array. Weapons failure does help there. One crit going into Wedge. Could Wedge survive here? Wedge is trying not to die. And Wedge taken off the table there. And that puts Eric back in the lead. Eric is behind now. Excuse me, Kettch is behind now by a total of 6 points. If Eric can manage to keep the 3 hull he has left and get half on any of the TIE Fighter, you either finish off pink or you can finish off pink. It's just going to be 1 hit. The gray one hit to get half, or of course 2 on green. But pink and gray are the answers. Those are the answers. But will Eric give Han the chance to do that? Man, I think Kettch just needs to turn in, right? You turn to the left here. And can you hope that Kettch gets a little greedy? Excuse me, that Eric gets a little greedy and goes fast. Maybe try to catch a bump. His arc is side to side right now, left, right. Can't forget that the Falcon does have the red boost available to it as well. Could that be a possibility? All right, here we go. Pink getting aggressive. I'm really surprised there. That's aggressive. 3 hard. I thought he might play a little cagey with that TIE Fighter. He's going with focus. Two bank. A 2 hard to the left is looking pretty solid right now. Gets you out of 1 arc. And you're... oh, Han's got a chance here. Hard 2 to the left. You pop the pink TIE Fighter and only take 1 shot. Unmodified. But he turns away. That's 3 shots. Did he clip the debris? Or the cloud? He's thinking about rotating the turret. We only got a few seconds left in the game, only 40 seconds. He's boosting away instead. It's going to get him another turn. He's looking for a more advantageous position here. And he is now officially ionized. The 3rd ion goes down there. Let's see what Eric is going to do. Does Eric know that he's ahead right now, that he does not have to chase Han? Literally all he has to do is one hard to the right with all his ships and just call it a good game. Are we sure that the points are calculated right? I'm going to take a double check here. From what I got here, pink is down to 1 hull. Blue is dead. Gray. Oh, wait a second. Gray, it's all right. This is flipped. Red is dead. Yellow is dead. Yeah. All right, that's correct. Just had a damage flipped there. 5 straight. 4 straight. Getting a little separation there to make sure not to bump. And 5 straight on to the gas cloud. It's going to go ahead and roll now. Ends up with a strain. But Han won't be able to shoot pink, so that doesn't quite matter. So at this point, he needs to get 1 onto green. Sorry, I had those colors switched. Oh, you guys can't see that. I'm pointing to it. I got to get the telestrator up and running on this thing. I said that 3 weeks ago. Haven't done it yet. Promise I'll do it. Han does have a shot. Han going at green. He needs 1 damage. He needs 1 damage to win. Oh, assuming that's a win, to be ahead. But then Eric gets to respond. He has to Han it. He has to Han it. He needs 2 or 3 hits here. Spend the force. Spend the force for hit crit. And that's the game. No damage there. So we know just from their actions that they're not entirely sure what the score is, but we will let them know if they ask. Then we're gonna get rolling for our next game here in a sec. Looks like they're playing it out. I do want to say thank you to both Eric and Kettch for playing. Super appreciate it. Hit crit and Han it. Does get 1 evade. Takes a crit. Direct hit down to 1. Range 3 unobstructed in bullseye. Of course, the bullseye doesn't matter. 1 hit. Yeah, weapons failure. All right, and that is the game. Let me go ahead and talk to them here real quick.